Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It's Victory Monday. You guys know what time it is. We're at Feldman in Novi, Feldman Chevrolet. They have us out here typically on Victory Mondays. For whatever reason, when we're down here, for the most part, we've won a game. We weren't here last week. Maybe that's why. I don't want to say that's why, but it is what it is. Sam Flannel, my partner in crime. We got the entire crew here with us. JB, Kool-Aid's hanging out with us. We got Ken G, the entire crew here at Feldman. By the way, people are saying I sound like RoboCop. I don't know why that is, but we'll get it fixed for you guys. We'll get it fixed. How we feeling, Flannel? Victory Monday? I know we'll talk about your Chiefs at some point.
Oh, my Chiefs.
We'll talk about your Chiefs at some point, but you know what? We'll stick with the Lions. They look damn good.
You know,
they did. And we'll break down it more in depth at 8:15. But just overall, it is Victory Monday. It's hard not to be happy.
You know, I know there's some people in the chat kind of going at me a little bit, but what do I have to be mad about? My favorite NFL team won, and my favorite college team is going to the college football playoff. I'm happy as a clam right now, everybody. Come on. I'm not out to get petty. I know you guys are out to get petty, but, you know, we might talk about that later. I am fine, guys. Fine.
Steve Wild says, I wouldn't say damn good. It wasn't a blowout, which, don't worry, I'll get to, guys. And this is the thing, and me and Neil, we have our battles. But one thing we can kumbaya and we can come together on is it's not always about style points, especially in December. And they say that the saying is season doesn't start till after Thanksgiving. Well, you're 1-0 now in December. That's all that matters. I know people get obsessed with blowouts and all that. They went up 21-0 in the first quarter. I get all that. So you expect them to blow out the Saints. But you're on the road to a team who's competing for their division. Like, you know, just because they didn't blow out the Saints doesn't take anything away. You won a game. You're 9-3. And you got out of there for the most part healthy. I mean, Frank Ragnow went down, which was unfortunate. But still, you're 9-3. That's all that matters.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, ask the Kansas City Chiefs how hard it is to win on the road. Right. I mean, they went into Green Bay and they took an L. But in the Lions, I know there were some issues with the defense kind of letting the Saints back in the game and all of that, but they were able to get up on them 21-0, and they were able to hold on. It's a road win in the NFL against a team that is not great or anything, but they were at the time and still are because it's the NFC South competing for a division. It was a road win in the NFL. You can never take those lightly, and the Lions are 9-3. When you look at it that simplistically, we should all be very, very happy.
And we'll get to the college football playoff stuff tomorrow. I wanted to spend more time on that. I know today we could have squeezed it in, but there's too many storylines with the game from the Lions game itself, and we'll spend more time on Michigan college football playoff, Alabama. You know, that video that came out of all those fans watching, all those Michigan fans. And, you know, they didn't sound too excited to play Alabama, Sam. So we'll react to that footage tomorrow.
Oh, we'll
and I want
talk
your thoughts on it,
on
the matchup with Alabama. That's what I want, Sam Flannel. Bruce Irvin, we'll discuss him. Don't worry, later in the show. I know, at least for me, I thought it was comical to the people that thought Bruce Irvin would be the savior. I didn't think he was a bad player, but, man, he showed out his first game.
He did.
You got talking about a sack, and he put Derek Carr in a coffin. So, hey.
He did.
Not that I approve that, but that's just what happened. I'm just pointing it out.
I mean, I've probably called for a lot of quarterbacks in my day to be knocked out of the game, and Derek Carr was. I didn't call for that. I always wish for a clean bill of health from Derek Carr, but we'll talk about it a little bit more because he did make a big play. He also made what was a drive-extending penalty, but the Lions may have even gotten the better deal out of it as the game went on. But we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we don't need Chase Young. We got Chase Young at home. It's Bruce Irvin.
We got Bruce.
He played well, man. So again, Bruce Irvin at the age of 36. Dan Campbell let him get his legs under him, and boy, it worked out. We'll be getting more into the storylines of the game itself. 8:30, we'll talk more about Sam Laporta because he showed out in a lot of different ways, not just the receiving yards, which you can point to, but there's a lot of things that people, I think the normal casual fan might not have seen from Sam Laporta because he made an impact in a lot of different ways. Like I said, we'll talk about Bruce Irvin, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah,
lost some money on him. It is what it is. Needed a sack. We'll discuss that. Him, the pass rush, all that and more. And then, of course, at 9 o'clock, just like at 8:15, we'll get into our takeaways. We're going to go through them twice for people that will join the show late. 9:16, we're doing our segment we kind of trialed already. It's who took home the gold, silver, bronze, the Detroit Lions relay race. We'll give our gold medal, our silver medal, our bronze medal to 3 Lions players or coaches, whoever it is. It does not matter. And then, of course, at 9:30, I want to show everyone the NFC playoff picture because those are updated. Teams are winning, teams are losing. And we'll go through around the NFL tomorrow. I want to talk about that 49ers victory, too, because that was an ass-whooping.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought they'd win, but I didn't think it'd be an ass-whooping. I didn't think it'd be that bad. But it is what it is. The 49ers, man, best team in football. They are. I mean, I don't think there's much to debate there.
You'll see tomorrow in my power rankings where the 49ers rank, but they did have probably the most impressive win of the year. They looked like a machine.
I would argue they might have 2 of the most impressive wins of the year. They blew out the Cowboys and they blew out the Eagles.
That is also true.
That is wow. Okay, we'll just spend. Yeah, that's another team that they're a scary team. I can't even lie there. Sir James Campbell was solid for the first game against the speed of the Saints, and we'll talk about Jack Campbell as well because Jack Campbell got the green dot, starting linebacker, played his, not only his natural position, but he was out there kind of commanding the defense a little bit. He played well. And this is a guy that on the pregame show we talked a lot about how much expectations he had. Your first-round pick, you're wearing the green dot. No Alex Anzalone. Germ stepped up. Malcolm Rodriguez was out there. We'll talk about that linebacker core as well. Let's go to break, though. Sorry for starting late. We're on the road here. So unlike the Lions, we're not as efficient early on. All right, we get better later in the game. All right, so relax. We'll come back from break. We'll get into our takeaways and more. Right now, though, I got to tell you about our friends at Big Boy because, guys, after a victory like that, where else do you go but Big Boy? You go over to Big Boy. They got all these fall items, now Christmas items. Their gingerbread, hot cakes they got as well. Head over to Big Boy, man. Indulge in whatever you got to indulge in. And listen, I don't judge. Big Boy's got it all. Go there. Victory Monday. Even if you lose, you go there. You celebrate. It is what it is. Shout out to our friends over at Big Boy. We'll see you guys right after the break.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Do you have football on the brain? Of course you do. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has been awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
We're back. Victory Monday, Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Full crew with us here at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. Man, oh man. I'm excited. A lot of storylines to get to. I already kind of teased it already. People chiming in. The people are speaking right now. Let's see. Big Dan Davis. Jeff, how about Jamison Williams? They found another way to get him the ball on a wide receiver reverse, and he scored a TD in the second half. That was awesome. Yeah, Jamison, listen. You guys know how I feel about Jamison. Get him the football. and they got it to him in the run game. He made a play. We'll discuss him more in depth, but right now I want to get into some of our takeaways. And I think the overall thing, when you watch that game and you finish it up and you close it out and you're done with it, some of your takeaways should be, number one, the Lions are 9-3. That's the most important thing, especially in December. Sometimes it doesn't have to look pretty. You just win. That's all that matters, especially with the 49ers winning. They're 9-3 now, I believe.
9-3.
Yep, so you're tied with the 49ers. Dallas is right behind you. The Eagles look, they're still record-wise the best team, but they look vulnerable. So the Lions are in a position right now where they won a game. The other thing I'm very impressed with, which they did really well last year, the second half, and they were winning games, is, Sam, protect the football and get takeaways. That is something they did at a very high rate second half of last year. Jared Goff was protecting the football, not just Jared, but the entire team, and they were getting takeaways. Because this defense isn't elite. This defense, I wouldn't even say is good, to be honest with you. I think they're just all right. But they're opportunistic. That's what makes this defense, that you can win games with them because they get takeaways. You look at the game yesterday. The New Orleans Saints outgained the Lions. They had 362 total yards to the Lions 347. They had more yards, but the Lions won. You know what was the difference? The turnovers. The Saints had 2. The Lions didn't turn the ball over. That's the difference. That's why. You look at the last 2 weeks, the Lions have struggled. Why? Because your defense, with how it's playing as it is, and on top of that, your offense, which is a top 5 unit in the NFL, is turning the football over. It's very simple. It's gonna significantly decrease your chances of winning a football game. It makes it a lot harder, and they did that. You know what I did notice, though, watching the game, Sam, is Brad Holmes had his fingerprints all over the place. All over the place. Brian Branch had an interception. Brad Holmes draft pick. Sam Laporta, 9 catches, 140 yards. Brad Holmes draft pick. And a TD, by the way. You go down the list and you keep going. Jack Campbell made some plays. Had to take on a heavy role this week. He handled it well. Brad Holmes draft pick. Jameson Williams scored a TD on the ground. Brad Holmes draft pick. Bruce Irvin with a sack and also putting Derek Carr in a coffin. Brad Holmes signing. So
with his walker.
Spenny, yeah. Well, Spenny, he really took that thing all the way. Like, we were talking about Bruce Irvin. That man, the early bird special, like, come on. He was taking some shots at Bruce Irvin.
He had to make it for the early bird special.
That is fair.
Had to handle business.
Handle business. Jahmyr Gibbs played well. 8 carries, 60 yards, 7.5 yards per carry, had a break-off run of 36 yards. Brad Holmes draft pick. You keep going. David Montgomery looked pretty good. Brad Holmes signing. Brad Holmes had his fingerprints all over the football game. A lot of players that he acquired, signed, or drafted were making plays. So that was nice to see, man. Like, you got guys that are rookies, young players, and then you got guys that are 36 years old. Everyone's just making it work, and that's credit to the coaching staff. So, Sam Flannel, there's a lot of different takeaways to get into, but the biggest thing for me is you're 1-0 in December. You won a game against a team that's scratching and clawing for their division. And you know what? Jared Goff didn't turn the football over. So that shows progress. That shows a growth from the last 2 weeks. So there's a lot of good things to take away, but you got to start with that. Brad Holmes, fingerprints everywhere.
Oh, yeah. And to me, the Brad Holmes thing, that 100% has a role in it. I mean, all of the first 4 draft picks played very well in their own way. I mean, the Branch interception, Jack Campbell led the team in tackles, Jahmyr Gibbs led the team in rushing, and Sam Laporta went God mode. That's all I can say about that. But we're going to talk more about that later. I think, to me, it is all about the turnovers, because coming into this game, the Saints were the team with the positive turnover differential on the season, and the Lions were the team with the negative turnover differential. That is one of the few things that they had struggled with this year, being an 8-3 team, but they still were struggling with creating turnovers, and they were turning the football over at a high clip, especially in the last couple of games. And to be fair, if I'm going to ether Jared Goff for the last couple of games and just excoriate his performance, I have to give him credit for yesterday's. I don't think he was a world beater or anything like that, but he took care of the football. And the difference in that game is the fact that the Lions were able to get 2 takeaways deep in Saints territory for a grand total of 14 points on 43 yards on 2 drives. 2 drives traveling 43 yards got them 14 points off of turnovers, and that is a difference in the game. And when you do that as a team, more often than not, you are going to win. And they were both at very, very big spots. I mean, the first one was right after they got ahead 7-0, and the Saints were looking to equalize. And, of course, Derek Carr throws a pass that is dropped right into the waning arm or hand of, because it was a one-hander, of Brian Branch. Hey, Brian Branch has a knack for those deflected passes that should have been caught that he ends up intercepting. Absolutely huge. And, of course, the Lions are able to put 6 right on the board almost immediately. And then later on, with the score 27-21, and the Saints had the ball back. I think we were all a little nervous at that point because the Lions were having trouble stopping them, and it looked like, damn, the Saints could actually take a lead with this one. But instead, what happens is Derek Carr hits his lineman's arm with the football. It's loose. It's recovered by the Lions, and then they go in and almost immediately score a touchdown. They get off to a double-digit lead that they would never relinquish. So to me, it is all about the turnovers and the fact that the Lions did not create any turnovers for themselves. If I have another takeaway, though, I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of Bruce Irvin, because Bruce Irvin obviously got the sack. And then he got the roughing the passer, which did extend a drive, which at the time hurt the Lions. But in the long term, it may have helped the Lions, because my other takeaway, the Lions, and this isn't a bad thing because you got to win in the NFL somehow, the Lions are very fortunate that Jameis Winston sucks. Because Jameis Winston on that last drive had 3 opportunities to hit open receivers, and he missed 3 straight throws. 1 on 2nd and 6, 1 on 3rd and 6, and 1 on 4th and 6, and that was all she wrote from there. And that was all because Derek Carr had gotten knocked out of the game by Bruce Irvin. Obviously, I hope for a clean bill of health from Derek Carr moving forward, but Derek Carr was playing very, very well, and he was on a heater at that point. And Jameis Winston, the only big play that he made was one of the luckiest completions I've ever seen on that tip by Brian Branch into Chris Olave's arms. So Jameis Winston was reckless. He was terrible. He couldn't complete a pass to save his life on the last drive, because if Derek Carr was in that game, I'll tell you what, the Saints might have went down and scored, but he wasn't, and they didn't, and the Lions got a road win. And you want to get them no matter how you get them. Style points don't matter. Injury luck doesn't matter. They won the game. That's all that matters.
It's all that matters. And the reason why I brought up Brad Holmes' fingerprints, it's not just who he brought in, but it's also their most recent class. Rookies, Sam Flannel. That's really the takeaway. Like you already mentioned Brian Branch, rookie. Sam Laporta, rookie. Jahmyr Gibbs, rookie. I mean, Jack Campbell, rookie. That's why it's significant. And then that's credit to the coaching. But the big thing is, too, you mentioned the 2 turnovers the Saints had. The Lions scored on both of them.
Yeah.
So, if you listen, this defense, no one's coming to save it. Bruce Irvin's definitely an addition, and he's helped. You saw it game 1. But there's still a lot of work to do. A lot of work. And if you want to go fire AG, cool. I'm not going to go there yet. I think there's a talent discrepancy on this defense that I don't think is all of AG's fault. But I get it. I get the frustrations. I do. I don't completely disagree with it. I just think it's a little aggressive to say fire AG right now. But this defense, Sam, the point I made earlier is there's no backup coming to save this defense and make it a top 5 unit. So getting takeaways is how this team's going to keep winning. It really is. I mean, if you could continue to get takeaways and you take care of the football, and not only that, you score on the takeaways you do earn, then it's going to significantly increase your chances to win. The Purple Prince says, so we just accept a bottom-ranked defense. Not saying you accept it, but at the same time, what do you do? What can you do to change it? You know what I mean? I mean, is Aiden Hutchinson going to turn into Myles Garrett anytime soon? Not this year. So I mean, what can you do at this point? That's the problem. Detroit Steve, I'm tired of the excuses, Jeff. His in-game adjustments are a joke and his scheme is trash. Guys, and this is what I'll say on this, because people just want to, fire AG right now. I get it. He's not absolved from blame. I understand that. But at the same time, are you watching the same personnel I'm watching? Are you watching the same players I'm watching?
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Like, again, if we just talked about players that made a significant impact. Bruce Irvin at 36 came in and just got a sack and again, put Derek Carr in a coffin. He looked like one of your best pass rushers, Sam, at 36 years old.
Your second best pass rusher.
Second best.
but
regardless,
yeah.
Guys, like, think about 36 years old, he looked like your second best pass rusher. Does that speak more on your defense or AG?
Well, I mean,
like, I'm just saying, like, guys, and I get it, but damn.
AG deserves a lot of criticism. And I'll tell you what, if the Saints would have actually went down and scored the go-ahead touchdown and won, if you were right now today talking about fire AG, I wouldn't have necessarily agreed completely, but I would have just had to put my hands up and be like, just go vent. I don't even blame you. But the Lions did get a win, and even though it wasn't because of AG, I think those turnovers by the Saints were just self-inflicted, unforced errors. The defense, by the numbers and by the record, they did force 2 turnovers that resulted in 2 touchdown drives for the Lions that traveled a combined 43 yards. And if your defense does that, even if you give up some points, that is a successful day in a way. There's levels to this, obviously, but they did make plays when they absolutely had to. It wasn't a great performance by no means, but they did get the win. And I think we as Lions fans should be a little bit more celebratory, as the Brits would say, over getting a win on the road in the NFL. The defense was not good yesterday, but they found a way. And there may be some reinforcements coming as the season goes along with C.J. Gardner-Johnson and James Houston. Just remember that, guys. Not saying there's any guarantees.
Yeah, and this defense, they're bad in the red zone. I mean, they are. We talked about that even on the pregame show. We talked about it last week. They're one of the worst red zone defenses, and they didn't. And the Saints are one of the worst red zone offenses. So something had to give. You have the worst red zone defense and one of the worst red zone offenses. Clearly, the Saints came out on top. I get it's frustrating. I do. You don't want to have a bad defense. But at the same time, like, this is why we have these conversations, especially at the trade deadline, where we're marked as haters because we wanted more talent. Like, that's all we were making the case for. I understand that there's a talent issue. There's a lack of talent on this defense. AG is definitely not absolved from blame. I do think it's both. Now, if you want to fire AG and you think this defense immediately gets better, then do it. I would disagree with that. I think if you fire AG, I don't think this defense just immediately gets better. I think there's a personnel issue as well as the lack of adjustments from Aaron Glenn.
Well, and if I would agree with that. They certainly don't have the personnel. But Aaron Glenn, yeah, like we said, there is some problems with the scheme and his lack of adjustments. I would say that the most damning thing from yesterday's game when it comes to the defense is that the Saints were pretty much getting whatever they want in the red zone. In the game previous against the Falcons, they had 5 red zone trips and 0 touchdowns. But every time the Saints got into the red zone against the Lions this week, they were able to punch it in. If you wanna dog Aaron Glenn for that, I don't even hate you for it. And if the Lions would have lost that game, blew that lead, I would probably not be, getting my pitchforks out or anything like that, but having some questions. But they did win.
This is how it works, though, guys. Like, the Lions go up 21-0. AG, the defense looks good. The offense looks good.
Yeah.
The defense starts to slow down. The defense doesn't look as good as they did in the first quarter. Well, guess what? The offense scored a total of 12 points the last 3 quarters. So are we going to go at Ben Johnson, too? Like, guys, you won the game. Like, I mean, we could sit here and be like, well, they scored 21 in the first quarter, and they scored 3 points in the second, 3 points in the third, and 6 points in the fourth. Well, let's have an issue. Call in. Is Ben Johnson an issue? Like, not saying, I'm just saying, but, like, if we're going to bring up, like, they won the game. That's all that matters. Where are you at, JB, with this? Because I think if we're going percentages, I'll give, 30-40% to AG, fine. But it's got to be more on the personnel, and I'm going to stand by that. I will.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves with this whole fire AG thing. I know he hasn't looked great in the past couple games, with his defense, but this was obviously a little bit of a turning point. You started to see flashes, and you were like, all right, maybe this defense has changed a little bit, especially given that first quarter. I mean, 21-0, you have nothing to complain about right there. Absolutely nothing. I don't think right now is the time that, as you said, Jeff, if we fire AG, this defense is magically going to pop and be something completely different the next game. I really don't. I think it's 50-50. I think it's personnel and AG at the same time as well, too. But, I mean, you have nothing to complain about that first quarter. I mean, come on, let's be real. Like, that was a phenomenal first quarter, and I got to give it to him for that. You just need to capitalize on that quarter after quarter after quarter. You can't just sit here and continue to bleed points again and again, because Derek Carr was getting frustrated. And honestly, if you keep frustrating him more and more, he's going to turn the ball over. And next thing you know, you're going to resort to Taysom Hill or Jameson Winston. I'm pretty sure you more want Jameson Winston than Taysom Hill, because let's face it, he was kind of their only saving grace for the Saints right there. But
I just think it's significant, JB, that you sign a 36-year-old Bruce Irvin, and he comes in and he looks like your best, if not your second best defense lineman.
He got the first sack of the day, too. So.
Dude, and I get it. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Bruce Irvin, but, guys, are you with me? Like, are you with me right now? If Bruce Irvin signed with the 49ers, how would that look? he probably wouldn't see the field, would he?
He would not get on the field.
That's my point. Like, so guys, I get it. Trust me, I get the frustrations, but like, there's a bigger issue than just AG. If you're going to fire AG, you're going to do it after the season anyway. I mean, you're not going to fire this man mid-season. It's just at what use? You're 9-3. Defenses, if they can be opportunistic and get takeaways, you can win more games.
Yeah, and that defense, by the way, and this is a great point, they're missing Alex Anzalone. No C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Emmanuel Mosley is going to be a no help on this defense this year, unfortunately, because of injuries. It's just the fact that they were able to win that game at the Saints without Alex Anzalone. I would think that a lot of Lions fans would take that any day of the week. It didn't always look pretty, but they got it done. The defense was not good, but we'll see how it looks as the season goes along, and maybe some guys can come back, like Alex Anzalone, like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, like maybe James Houston. We'll see. I think it's a little bit too early to say fire Aaron Glenn. If it continues like this and it costs the Lions some wins and maybe they get blown out in their first playoff game, then we can have that discussion. I just think it's too early right now, but it might trend to get there at some point, if that makes sense.
And I'm not saying he's completely absolved. I want you guys to stick with me here because I have this argument with Spencer sometimes and Easy about he's not absolved from blame. I think there's an extreme part of this where AG cannot do no wrong. I'm not there. But what I'm saying is if you're going to go blame in percentages, it's clearly more of a personnel issue. If you're watching the same defense as me.
Sure.
Like there's times where, and I love Kirby, but Kirby wide open, Chris Olave, torching Kirby Joseph, and he recovered well for a pass deflection. Well, what do you want AG to do? Tell him to keep up? Like, AG motivate him to stick in coverage? I mean, guys, I'm being a little overdramatic, but still, it's more of a personnel issue. It just is. I'm telling you. But yes, AG is not absolved from blame. But let's relax on the fire AG stuff. Let's relax a little bit. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll get into Sam Laporta because he's a stud. He's a stud. Yeah. I know Lucas Klotz is over there smiling. So we'll talk about Sam Laporta, some of the things he did yesterday, maybe some things that people didn't notice initially, all that and more. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Lady Jane's, Sam.
Lady Jane's, of course. Let me just pull that up right now. All right, I don't have the read. That is okay. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. I always get my A-plus haircuts there from the A-plus stylist. And, of course, even if I, not in the studio today, if I wanted to go to Lady Jane's, I would make that trip because they always got me up right. But, yes, call Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Feldman.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. 18 locations. There's always a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest to you. You can catch us live here at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi every other Monday, like today, to celebrate Victory Mondays. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, recapping Lions versus Saints. Lions victory on the road at the Superdome. And, I get it, guys. Again, I get a lot of the frustrations, but we can't talk about the positive things.
Oh, yeah.
Like Sam Laporta, a Brad Holmes draft pick, who is a certified stud. Certified stud. You talk about what he's done this year. He's third among tight ends in receiving yards. as a rookie. As a rookie. Guys, I don't think people understand, and you guys do because we talk about it all the time, but like maybe some other people that aren't as familiar with the NFL, how hard it is for a rookie tight end to go out and produce like this. Like typically it's one of the harder positions to kind of come into the NFL as a rookie and just learn and grasp and be productive. It is. It takes some guys a couple years to get to this point. Sam Laporta's at that point. I just said it. Third among all tight ends in receiving yards. Not rookie tight ends, tight ends. If there wasn't a C.J. Stroud just existing, this man would win Rookie of the Year. Offensive.
Puka Nacua? Oh, come on. Come on.
I'm giving it to Sam Laporta.
All right, fine.
I'm giving it to Sammy Laporta. All right, and he goes fine. And he's tied for the lead among all tight ends in receiving touchdowns. You talk about the game he had yesterday. 9 targets, 9 receptions, 140 yards, a receiving TD. And on top of that, guys, the plays he made, the J-Mo touchdown, who was in there blocking?
Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta. Like some of the things this man does that maybe don't pop up on the stat sheet matter as well. And he's doing a lot of the little things. He's always open. I don't understand it. Man coverage, zone coverage, he's open. And it reminds me, and Jared said this, and I thought it was a good point, it reminds him of a lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown his rookie year. He kind of just started exploding onto the scene. Now, Amon-Ra took half a year, but Sam Laporta, he's done this pretty much off the rip, Sam. And I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. He could easily, he's on pace. He's going to hit 1,000.
Ooh.
I think he'll hit 1,000 this year, which would be crazy. Rookie tight end getting 1,000. That's Kyle Pitts right there.
He'd be only the third tight end in NFL, rookie tight end in NFL history to do that, which would be absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, Sam Laporta officially put him back in the conversation for 1,000 yards as a rookie tight end, because Sam Laporta, let's talk about this really quick. We had all agreed even prior to the game that he had yesterday that Sam Laporta had been a revelation this year. He had been one of the biggest steals of the draft, like in totality this year. Been one of the best tight ends in the NFL as a rookie, which is impossible to do, by the way. Like nobody ever does it. But then he just goes out yesterday and has 9 catches for 140 yards and a touchdown. And think about this. Jared Goff as a whole threw for 205 yesterday. 140 of that went to rookie tight end Sam Laporta. That was his coming out party. He's already had a lot of coming out parties, but this was his true coming out party. And now Sam Laporta, he's put himself in conversation for 1,000 yards, and I think he's also put himself in conversation for, and he would have to continue at this pace. He would at least have to get 1,000 and probably more than that. Is there a chance that he's the first team All-Pro as a rookie tight end?
It's crazy.
I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying he's put himself back into that conversation, because right now I think it shows me that he's 4th among all tight ends in receiving yards. To me, it says Kelsey, Hockenson, and Kittle. But that's some pretty good company. When you're 4th as a rookie after Travis Kelsey, T.J. Hockenson, and George Kittle, a certain best tight end of all time, probably a first ballot Hall of Famer, and then T.J. Hockenson, who's he's good. He's good. Even though we're happy that not to repay him, that is a hell of a company right there. But here's where the difference is. Sam Laporta's a rookie. Do you know what Travis Kelsey was doing as a rookie? He was having a redshirt season because he was hurt. And don't get me wrong, his second year, which was technically his rookie year, he had over 800 yards, but still, he still had a year in the system. He still had a year of everything in that. His first true rookie year, he was a redshirt. T.J. Hawkinson's rookie year, he had 367. We all were there. He had a big game against Arizona to start the year, but kind of fell off from there and had some injuries. George Kittle, as a rookie, had 512. This doesn't happen with rookies to be this good, this fast. And right now, Sam Laporta has definitely cemented his status as Jared Goff's second favorite target, the second best receiving threat on that team. And I have to give a shout out, since this is our first day without him. Lucas Klotz, you sound like a damn prophet right now. He does.
He's breaking records.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, man, you already mentioned it, and it's a great point. 140 yards receiving. Jared had 213 passing. Dude. The next closest was Amon-Ra St. Brown, 2 catches for 49 yards. No one else on the team had more than 2 catches besides Amon-Ra. Everyone else had 1 catch. Amon-Ra had 2. And then there's Sam, 9 for 140 and a TD. Sam Laporta basically put this offense on his shoulders.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
In the passing game, or in the receiving game. He
100%.
Basically said, hey, guys, I got this. 140 yards, $140 and a TD. I got it.
Yeah, and
couple key blocks for a TD. I got it.
That's one of those games where I know this is a little bit too simplistic, but this was the Sam Laporta legacy game. This is the game where your rookie tight end kind of won the game for you. I mean, he had well over half of the team's receiving yards for himself, and this is a team that has Amon-Ra St. Brown on it. On a day where Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was still very impactful, but he had by far his least amount of receiving yards in a game this year. In comes in Sam Laporta, and he steps up and has one of the best games any tight end has had all season. And just imagine if he has a couple of more of those type of games as the season goes along. Then I think you can start talking about him seriously as first-team All-Pro as a rookie tight end. Definitely right now he's put himself in Pro Bowl consideration. I think he's going to get it as a rookie.
He has his first 100-yard game of the year, and he went for 140.
140.
And he's gotten it close a couple times, but he just seems to keep getting better. And what impressed me the most, Sam, is he had this performance after a little bit of a slump. I mean, you talk about his game against Chicago, 5 targets, 3 catches for 18 yards. He just didn't look like the Sam all season. And then he follows it up a little better against the Packers in a loss, unfortunate loss. And then he comes out on the road against the Saints, who have a pretty good defense. They're missing some guys in the secondary, but guess what? They lead, 4th in the league in takeaways. And Sam does what he did. I mean, come on, dude. It's impressive. Super Juggernaut 87, Jeff, we could have Sam. We could have Laporta on the show. I wish we could have Laporta on the show, man. He's a great dude, too.
So
humble.
You met him.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. And you won't even know he's this good. He's just a casual dude. And now
Jeff,
he's out here
you guys
balling.
Good friends? Like, yeah.
He's just
invite him on the show, man.
Yeah, I'll call him. I got his number.
Yeah.
Just kidding, I don't. But I'll get it. Don't worry about it. I'll get it. But no, you just wouldn't know, man. He'd walk around in public, just a normal dude. He's out here putting a $140 on the Saints against Dennis Allen, a very respected defensive coordinator. Yeah. So just trust me. It's not like they were letting him eat. They were trying to stop him. They couldn't. And a lot of that I want people to know is because Sam Laporta's doing what he's doing, you guys got to think of all the attention that St. Brown's getting. Like, that actually speaks to how good he is because they tried to take him, and Sam Laporta stepped up. So it was impressive. Let's go to break. When we get back, we'll talk more about Bruce Irvin because I do want to have that conversation. He played well yesterday in the limited snaps we've seen of Bruce Irvin. Aiden Hutchinson, you know what? Got some pressures. I wish I could bet on pressures in FanDuel, but I cannot, unfortunately. I tried. I wish I could. If I could bet on pressure, Sam, I'd be a millionaire at this point in the season. I would. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. Got to get sacks. All right, we'll talk about it when we come back. But first, we got to hear about our friends from from Cintron. You got it, JB.
Nope. I got to find it. All right. I got it. All right, how would you like to win a $100K Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy Drink It and Live It sweepstakes. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter for your chance to win the $100K Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com and buy Cintron at your local Meijer store. It's Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste and a choice of people who desire to look good, feel great, and be the best version of themselves. And once again, that website, drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Cintron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Cintron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Cintron, and entered to win the Cintron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Cintron today at any Meijer location or visit drinkcintron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Fairway Packing. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Co. has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. It looked like Bruce Irvin stopped at Fairway Packing, dude. He was looking beefed up. All right, head over to Fairway. They got it. Steak shop at Grosse Pointe Woods. Grab and go steaks, or you can order online, fairwaypacking.com. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, recapping Lions Saints. Let's get into the discussion, though, Sam. Bruce Irvin made his debut, a man that we talked about ad nauseum. And I didn't expect this out of Bruce, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought he'd provide help, and I went through the stats when he was first acquired that last year. He had more pressures than John Kaminsky does at this point. Compared it per snaps. I did all like the numbers there, and he was more productive at least getting to the quarterback last year than anyone else besides Aiden. So even at 36, we knew he'd be an addition, but I didn't know the extent of it. I didn't know he'd come out and get a sack his first game. Yeah. And he did that. So a lot of credit to him. Clearly takes care of his body, and I think he's a guy that, especially in the postseason, he's more depth. And this defensive line needs it. Romeo Okwara finally showing up like they needed him. He was kind of MIA most of the year. We'll get into Aiden in a second, but what were your initial takeaways from just Bruce Irvin making his impact?
Well, I didn't expect that from him, at least so early on. But if he does that maybe one more time this year, or maybe even a couple more times, if he can be more like consistently a guy that can get to the quarterback and give this defensive line some help and some depth, that would be absolutely huge. I mean, Bruce Irvin is a guy that has been productive in this league, has had seasons of like 8 sacks, 9 sacks, but I thought those days were far behind him. But he made a play. And for the record, Romeo Okwara made a play too, if we want to talk about that as well. The defensive line, though, it wasn't their best game, but I think personally, and I know I'm kind of divulging into something, that they played better yesterday than they did against the Packers. It seemed like the Saints were getting rid of the ball pretty quickly and the secondary struggled. But yeah, Bruce Irvin, he made an impact on the game. He's already almost halfway to what I expected from him with his acquisition. I expected maybe 2 sacks and 20 pressures. He's almost halfway there already, and they won that game in ways because of him, and in probably unintended ways because of him, because he also knocked Derek Carr out of the game, which I do think played a big role in the Lions winning. So bravo, Bruce Irvin. You played a big role in a Lions victory, which is all we can really expect from a 36-year-old kind of has-been who hasn't been signed by any team this year. Bravo.
He didn't look like a has-been.
He did not look like a has-been.
That's why I was okay, Bruce Irvin.
Yes.
I see you out there making plays, and he's a guy that, especially you get James Houston back.
Yeah.
You know, and Aiden creates a lot of these opportunities because he can get pressures, and we've seen it. If you're watching the game, he was in Derek Carr's face. Derek Carr got rid of that football quickly and didn't allow for Aiden to get him down. But still, you know, Aiden, and you look at this year in just totality, and I'm not going to go the route of Neil Rule here and just harp on it, but he hasn't had a sack besides Chicago, which closed the game, by the way. It was a clutch sack and a forced fumble. So Aiden closed out that game. I want to give him credit there. But that's his only sack in, it'd be 7 games? Yeah. 7 games. He has 1 sack. That, although the pressure, the impact, I get all that, he had a stretch where he had 4 sacks in 3 games.
Yeah.
And then you saw that, and he's had 4.5 sacks, and now he has 5.5.
Yeah, I mean.
So the sacks at some point, Sam, will come, but man, you know, it is a little unfortunate. I'm not denying that he doesn't create opportunities for other guys. He absolutely does. But at some point, man, you got to get home. You got to get sacks.
But there was somebody who was there this time when Aiden Hutchinson actually did create an opportunity for Bruce Irvin, because Aiden Hutchinson came at Derek Carr like a bat out of hell, and Derek Carr kind of was flushed out a little bit, and Bruce Irvin was right there. So as the season goes along, I do expect him to get more sacks. I get it. He hasn't played. He doesn't have the sack numbers that maybe we all wanted. There's been some stretches in games where he hasn't even had the impact that maybe I wanted as somebody who thought at the beginning of the year that he can compete for the Defensive Player of the Year. In that terms, his season has been a little bit of a disappointment, but he has been impactful. For the majority of the season, he has been surrounded by, besides for Lee McNeil, some of the worst defensive line help of anybody in the NFL. Hopefully Bruce Irvin helps, by the way. But you saw what having a Bruce Irvin could do. Those pressures that everybody says weren't impactful or are useless, that wasn't useless that time.
Yeah, that was not
useless when he was pulled right into Bruce Irvin. At the very beginning of the game, too, it looked like Aiden Hutchinson was making a huge impact when the Lions were creating that turnover, when the Saints were going 3 and out. Aiden Hutchinson was consistently getting there. He got shared a tackle for loss with Jack Campbell on that running play. So I'm not worried about Aiden. I still think he is the least of the Lions' problems. But yeah, I would like to see him make a few more game-changing, game-breaking plays. They're going to need that from him if they want to make the playoffs. Well, they're going to make the playoffs, but go far in the playoffs. But as far as
they're going to need him.
They are going to need him to make more
Absolutely.
plays. That's 100% true, but I don't think he has been anywhere near the problem on this defense. And the people who are calling him a bust, like Ryan's reaction, you clown, I know you're kind of a troll, you're just wrong. He still leads the team in sacks.
And this is where, guys, and this is why, and I kind of did this with AG, where there's the far side of the spectrum where people are all on this side and people are all on this side. And this is the point I do not agree with. Jason Wright, you guys are obsessed with sack numbers. I don't think it's out of line to expect sacks. Like, if Aiden ends the season with 5.5, we're going to sit here and be like, well, he created a lot of pressures for other people. Like, yeah, but, dude, at some point you got to get sacks. So yeah. I think that's a little ridiculous.
I do think Jason Wright has a little bit of a point, though. I mean, we'll
sacks. You know the difference between a sack and a pressure, right? Like, a sack is a drive stopper, a play stopper. A pressure, I mean, I saw pressures where there was a 25-yard completed pass for Derek Carr. Like, so I mean, that's where the difference is. And this comment too, I want to address one more. Wheezy D, I love you, I do. And he wanted to bring up Nick Bosa, which is a route I would not go because Nick Bosa is actually the complete opposite. He says Nick Bosa only has 8 sacks. You do realize that Nick Bosa had 2.5 sacks until the Bengals game. He has 5.5 in a 5-game stretch. So I wouldn't go there. He turned his season completely around.
All right, but
he has 8 sacks.
But he also has a lot more help than Aiden Hutchinson. A lot more help. He's surrounded by Chase Young, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, Randy Gregory.
But guess who's getting home? He is.
They all are getting home. Javon Kinlaw got
Bruce
home
Irvin
yesterday.
and Romeo Cora got home.
I know, fine.
So get home.
So they're better. They're better than Aiden Hutchinson. You know what? How about Aiden Hutchinson sit out next game? How about that? How about that?
You're again.
Pressures and water breaks are the same thing. Pressures and gassers are the exact same thing, right?
When he ends the season with 5.5 sacks, I want the same energy.
He's not going to end. Okay, if he ends the season with 5.5 sacks, that would be bad.
He's on pace. He has 5.5. And there's how many games left? 5?
You think he won't get a sack in the next 5 games?
He had 1 in 7 games.
All right, fine.
The data isn't proving me wrong. I mean,
fine.
So you think he's on a track for a sack a game for the next 5 games? Want to make a bet?
He's not going to get a sack a game.
So what are we talking about? That's what I'm saying.
I think he'll get like a couple more, maybe finish the season with 8.5, 9, and have a lot of pressures.
I'm just saying, man. I appreciate the pressures. I love it. It's cool. It's awesome. It affects the game to some extent, but at the same time, man, like at some point you got to get home. Like I can't.
And he helped greatly Bruce Irvin get home. Do you think Bruce Irvin gets that sack without Aiden Hutchinson? Probably not. Actually, you all probably do because Bruce Irvin is obviously already better than Aiden Hutchinson. How about this? How about you guys call up Brad Holmes and say cut him right now because he's a bum?
I never said that.
No. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a lot of these people in the chat that are already calling him a bust, but will blow their wads over Jamison Williams already. We'll talk about that more later, but that's fine. That's fine.
John Macroom, Josh Allen of the Jags has like 12.5. Yeah, Josh Allen's
Josh Allen's better than Aiden Hutchinson right now.
Definitely. He is better. But that's kind of I think the point John's making too is like, can you name a dude on their defensive line besides Trayvon Walker?
I mean, Josh Allen's better than Aiden Hutchinson right now. He is. He is. I'll admit that.
Funky says pressures without a negative play are absolutely useless. Hutch has been comments. Okay, Hutch has a list of useless pressures. I'd be okay with Hutch being out next week. Dude hasn't been impressive since he got.
Oh, you want him out next week?
Okay, well that's a little aggressive. I don't want him out next week.
You know what? You clown, you person, just putting this in the chat for no reason, just to troll. I would like to see how that would look for the Lions. Actually, Aiden Hutchinson, for my own selfish and petty desires. How about you do that? See what a difference he makes.
Peter Van says Bosa's also playing in an all-star team, Jeff. You're wrong on this one, dude. Okay, well, I'm just expecting a guy you draft 2 overall to eventually be like a Max Crosby, someone like that.
And he still could get there.
Just go make plays. Who cares who's around you?
What was Max Crosby doing year 2? He was having single-digit sack seasons.
Where
where
was he drafted?
Oh, so since he's the 2 overall pick, he has to get 20 sacks a year for it to be successful.
No, I didn't say. Now you're saying 20. I'm saying if you're the number 2 overall pick, yeah, I expect you to be productive.
So it's open season on Aiden Hutchinson because he's the number 2 overall pick, but there's people on this team who are useless. Malcolm Rodriguez, who's Teflon?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying
Malcolm
that
Rodriguez is useless. You're wrong. He's a 6th-round pick.
All right, fine.
The fact that you have a 6th-round pick playing special teams, offense, and defense is good enough for me.
He has 1 catch for 6 yards this year, offense. Okay, fine.
He's a starter. He plays all 3 levels. He plays all 3 phases of the game for a 6th-round pick.
All right, fine. I'm just saying that you all.
I'm not saying he's a bust, but come on, guys. Like at some point, you got to expect something out of your number 2 overall pick.
Shad with a great take. Y'all want Hutch to be a bust so badly. Thank you. There are a lot of people who are preying on this man's downfall. I'm not saying you, Jeff.
I know who you're talking about. I'm not preying on his downfall, but I do expect this man to get sacks at some point.
I like Shad today. He's my
Shad's
guy
the man. Justin Reed, until Hutch bends and learns how to use better pass rush moves, he's just going to bull rush and not get home.
All right, fine.
Robert Lane says, Jeff, what's up, dude? The corpse of Bruce Irvin came through. Robert Lane, the reverse curse.
There you go.
If I call someone a corpse, they play well. It's just how it works. I'm glad. Bruce Irvin's playing well, man. That's a great signing from Brad Holmes. I think a guy that they're going to be able to use in the postseason. That's all. Listen, do I think Hutch will get a sack by the end of the season? Yeah, I do. He'll get a sack. I think we were all just, including myself and you and Booner. I had this conversation with Booner. Everyone was talking 15 sacks and Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
All right.
So that's why I'm having these discussions.
All right, and maybe I was a little bit too preemptive to have those. I just think that he is in a tier of defensive. I think he is still the best defensive player on this team, and I think he has for the most part been.
That's true.
I think for the most part that he has been very good this year. He just hasn't always gotten home. It's not. So it's just I just don't like this idea that he has to get 15 sacks or he's a bust at this point. That's absurd.
But I will say I just expect more production out of the number 2 overall pick. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
He's making the pressures are cool, but at the end of the day, man, you got to get paid on sacks. That's how you get paid.
All right.
They're not going to be like, well, Aiden, you did have a ton of pressures this year, my man. Here's a bag. Here's $100+ million. Like, no, you got to get production. He knows that though. Yep. Neil Rule just texted me, hey Flannel, who's helping Thibodeau?
Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, I always say Neil. That's where me and you we disagree because Dexter Lawrence, dude, he's a dude. He's a dude, man. If you know Dexter Lawrence, you know he's a dude.
Well, in Kayvon, he's having.
And Kayvon's he is getting production.
He is.
I'll give him that.
I would say that Aiden Hutchinson's also getting production, but Kayvon Thibodeau, I'm not here to crap on him. He has had a very, very good season, but I know Neil Rule all along wanted Kayvon Thibodeau and has been very, very reluctant to ever give Aiden Hutchinson credit for anything, and that's fine. If you want to say that you want Kayvon Thibodeau right now, that's all well and good, but I think it's a little absurd to make that claim this soon.
We'll see. I think Aiden's still going to be a fine player. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't even say that. I would still take him over Kayvon Thibodeau. I would.
Okay.
You saw it his rookie year.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, we'll see. Bruce Irvin got a sack. Romeo Corp, they play better, and James Houston comes back. We'll see. I think Aiden will play better, but he has to.
Yeah.
He has to.
All right.
He has to, Sam. I can't. Listen, I got the Hutch hat and everything. I bought the man's merch. But he's got to play better.
You're probably going to burn it if he doesn't have a sack next game,
Get some sacks, please. That's how you measure guys, man. It is what it is. All right. Brian Ruth says, Aleem is a top-ranked D tackle, so stop acting like Hutch is all alone, Sam, you clown. Well, he's not Dexter Lawrence, though, man. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, Dexter Lawrence is in the top tier of defensive tackles. But he is, Brian, you are right, though. Aleem he's good. He's good. He's just not Dexter Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence is the best defensive tackle in the NFL right now.
Yeah, he's playing like it. All right, let's go to break. When we come back, Hugh says Jeff likes to measure guys' sacks. Well, okay, let's go to break here. All right, that's out of pocket. All right, let's go to break here. When we come back, we'll get more into the Lions-Saints game, some of the takeaways, and then at 9:16, we'll get into our little segment we created that I like to do is who took home the gold, silver, and bronze. We'll give out the awards to 3 different Lions players or coaches, and we'll have that discussion. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Bullseye Event Group.
Bullseye, yes. Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live every home game for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market in Shed number 5, and it is always a bash starting at 9:30 a.m. until game time. The official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, and entertainment all included. Get your tickets online today at bullseyeeventgroup.com or win some from Woodward Sports today. Just subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on IG, and direct message Lions VIP.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Have you ever wanted to be at a bar where you're known as a regular? Well, Hammond Pub is just the place. They got 7 locations, and you can experience where everyone is a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on Thursdays or game day specials available all throughout Michigan sporting events and NFL games, please, Hammond Pub is the place. Visit a location today. We were there on Saturday for the Big Ten championship game. That was a lot of fun. We had a blast over there in Richmond, to be honest with you. So you can check out there. We might be back there at some point. It was a lot of fun. So shout out to that at Hammond Pub. You can experience your new favorite pub for all things sports. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show. And I want to get into some of these comments because people are they have a reaction. Shad says, Jeff, don't let draft position dictate your judgment. Shad, that's how that works. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't. Draft position matters because the higher you're drafted, what's the reason for Jack Campbell when we talked about him stepping up? Well, he's a first-round pick. He's a 18th overall pick. Yeah. With Aiden, I can't use that? Not you, but you know what I mean? Like, how is that fair?
I mean,
Jameson Williams is a first-round pick. He has to play well. But then Aiden's number 2 overall pick. He's okay.
But
I just think that you have to be consistent with that. Draft position matters. Absolutely, it does.
If you think that Jameson Williams has lived up to the hype, I think you're smoking.
No. See, you misheard me. I said draft position.
Okay.
Because one of the arguments we bring up with Jameson is he's drafted in the first round, correct?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
Not talk about obviously, Sam, Aiden's been more productive, but the draft position thing. Cade Cunningham. People want to criticize him. He's a number 1 overall pick.
Sure.
You have to bring up draft position. That's how that works. If you don't agree, well, then that's sports. If you're drafted top 2, then yeah, I expect you to perform.
Yeah, but you can't expect like 15 sacks this season.
Did I say that?
And still,
you expected 15 sacks.
Well, I did expect it this year, but upon further review, there's a lot of players in the NFL right now who are considered some of the top DNs in the league that only have 1 or 2 15-sack seasons total. So I may have been quick on the trigger. I will admit that. But if you think Aiden Hutchinson has had a bad season, I think you're crazy. And I'm not saying you do, but I know there's a lot of people in the chat that do.
I won't say bad. I'll just say more disappointing than I expected. I thought he'd be, at this point, close to double-digit sacks. I did.
That's fine.
I thought he'd have 8 and 9.5 right now, 9. I mean, I thought he'd clear his rookie year. Is that fair? I thought he'd have more than last year. Because last year, he had James Houston. You are correct. But he was getting home last season. Yeah. And Aleem McNeil's better this year. So, like, that's why we bring it up,
He could still get 9.5.
And he can, certainly. 5 games, I believe, 5 games left. So it's definitely still feasible there. Micro Mike, Lions Talk by Chad Spore. Shout out to you, my man. He says, I expected 10 sacks. He is in a sophomore slump.
See, I don't think it's a sophomore slump, though.
Then what is it?
Maybe a slightly slower growth period than maybe we would have expected.
Which is a
it's not a slump.
Sophomore slump.
James Houston. James Houston has been out most of the season.
Need James Houston.
No, you don't. It would be nice to not have it be Charles Harris and John Kaminsky not having terrible years. That would be nice for that help. I'm just saying. You guys want to throw him in the trash right now, and I think you're crazy.
Yeah, and Katz just with another terrible take. NFL teams adjust year to year. Teams are doubling Hutch more this season. Yeah, no, clearly. But if you watch the game, is this man doubled every single snap?
Not every, but how is it a terrible take?
It's a terrible take.
It's not a terrible take.
Because you're going to get doubled if you're good. Okay. Figure it out. I mean, I was at the game on Thanksgiving. I watched him every snap defensively. Because I was like, you know what, I want to watch this man because the whole doubling, he's double teamed every single snap narrative. I want to watch it. Wasn't as much as people were talking about.
And he's getting chipped. But for the record, the Packers game, that was his worst game of the season to me. I
want to clear that up. Like, he's doubled every single play. Okay, yeah, he's doubled more than anybody else, but every single play is ridiculous.
Okay, he's not doubled every play, but I'm just saying he has had a lack of sack production lately, but that doesn't mean that he's doing nothing on the field. Y'all act like he's doing cardio. Or in some, one of the worst comments I've ever seen in the history of the sport said that he should sit next week out. Okay.
No.
I would actually like that at this point. I would love that.
Imagine he sits out and you got Romeo with a sack. Everyone, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Let's see. Andrew, Jeffy's always in the backfield. Get some glasses, bud. No, you're right, Andrew, but get a sack because he was also in the backfield when Derek Carr was completing 25-yard passes.
Well, and
so, again, are we talking about the effect of it? Yeah, you pressure Derek Carr, still completion. They ended with more total yards than the Lions did.
Well, he also caused
the pressures are awesome.
Well, he also caused Jimmy Garoppolo to miss a wide-open Devontae Adams with a pressure, too, but that doesn't matter. That's fine. In the Raiders game. A game that if he hits that Devontae Adams, it's a walk-in touchdown, and we might be having a different conversation, but that's all right.
Was that all on Aiden or more on Jimmy Garoppolo?
Aiden was hitting him as he threw the ball. I'm just saying. I
see him in the backfield, guys. What I'm saying is get sacks. It's very – that's my philosophy.
Trisha Miller is having a day, I'll tell you what.
Trisha Miller, stop, Sam. Your extreme comments are your deflection of lack of true perspective or knowledge study for work, Sam.
Trisha, I think the next show I'm going to just sit back and say, here – I'd like to see how that would go for you.
Oh, gosh. Shad says pressures.
Jesus.
Which, guys, and again, I don't want to spend the whole show talking about Aiden Hutchinson. It's something I brought up. I expect him to play better, but he has to.
All right.
I expect him to because he has nowhere to go but to play better. He just has 1 sack in 7 games. It's just not good enough.
But that's doesn't tell the whole story. It's not good enough. But y'all acting like he's a bust right now or something. That's absurd. It's absurd. And don't call me baby boy, Trisha. God, what a.
This is where we need to break some bread here.
Yeah.
You're on the side of what's not a terrible year. I'm on the side of it's not good enough. Okay, so can we come together and be like, he just has to play. He just has to get sacks. Has to play a little better. Is that fair? Or you think he's perfectly fine, he's resolved from any criticism? Okay. Me and Sam break bread. Okay, see, I get it. All right, we're good now. All right, let's get into some more takeaways from the game itself. Neil Rule just texted me again. I'm not doing this, Neil. You can talk about it on your show, all right? You can do it all on your show. He's chirping you, Sam. Save it for Big D Energy. 11-1. Check those guys out. But I do. This game, guys, and I said it earlier, despite the Hutchinson storylines, anything you want to bring up, the AG, you won a game in December on the road, especially coming off a loss. So that's what matters. You're 9-3. The Lions are on track to be one of the best teams. They are going to be one of the best teams, and they are currently in the NFC. They're going to host a playoff game, and they're going to win their division. That's what matters. That's how we can all kumbaya. They're going to host a playoff game, and they're going to win their division. Yeah. And I'm telling you, you're going to get probably an NFC North team. It looks like it, Sam, at this point. We'll see what the Rams do. But at least at this point, Packers and Vikings might make the playoffs.
Yeah.
We'll see how it trends, but Lions are in a great position. They control their own destiny, and as long as your defense, again, opportunistic. They're not a great defense, but if you turn the football over and the offense is taking care of the football, they can win a lot of these games coming up. They can. I believe that.
Well, yeah, and if you want to look at this and take a 30,000-foot view, though, a lot of our opinions on the Lions were, I would say, we were a little bit disappointed after they lost that home game on Thanksgiving to the Packers. I mean, a lot of us were even questioning if they were going to get the 3 seed at this point. But I think with that win at New Orleans, that was a big statement for them that they can come back, and especially the way that they started. You could tell that they had something to prove. They were out to just make a statement and get ahead early on and not let up. I mean, they did let up a little bit, but that's the thing. When you have a 21-0 lead in the NFL, 9 times out of 10, probably even more than that, you're going to win those games. So it was important for them to get off to a fast start and get some confidence, and they did. And they won a road game when it looked like their season could be on the brink of not being what we thought that it would be. Now, I think they are firmly on track to win 12 games, maybe even 13, get the 3 seed, get a home playoff game, and win it. I am confident that they will do that at least.
I am too. I think a playoff win, we're both there. I know you were a little higher on your expectations, but you've kind of corrected that. I think we both agree. Playoff win, division win. That should be the expectations this year. Win your division, win a playoff game, and get out of there like you stole something. That's all that matters.
Oh, yeah.
If they lose, now, JB, and I want your thoughts on this too. The 49ers and Eagles, even though the Eagles got absolutely decimated, the 49ers, man, those guys are built different. Those guys are built different.
They're
a team.
very different.
If you talk about a team I'm most scared to play, is that team.
The 49ers or the Eagles?
Lindsey Hunter, you can brag all you want.
That's
that team's
Lindsey's
terrifying.
team, and honestly, we will be hearing from him on Big D Energy. I guarantee you he will be over the moon to see that, his 49ers showed out, which I got to give them credit for it. They seem like a unstoppable juggernaut, and I don't even want to mess with them. I told them on probably last week that, hey, they seem like the best team in the NFL right now. If the Lions go toe-to-toe with them, I don't see the Lions coming out on top of that one. So, and that's just being honest. Like, they just seem like a well-put-together team, and I honestly don't know a team that can take them out unless – hey, Brock Purdy is out or Christian McCaffrey is out. One of their star players has to be out for the other team to honestly dominate and win that game. But honestly, they're rolling right now.
And it's tough because it's like, okay, Eric Armstead gets hurt. You still got Nick Bosa. You still got Chase Young. Like, I'll give you that, Sam. They got dudes. And they know, but again, this is a team that's been kind of brewing for a couple of years. The Lions, and Brad Holmes kind of said that to the Lions fan base. We're not there yet. I wanted them to go get Chase Young. I wanted them to go get some help, especially for Aiden. Trust me, I get that part of it. Doesn't completely absolve this man from any criticism, but I do understand where you're coming from. The Lions, though, aren't on the same timeline as those teams. Those teams are in a win-now window. Like Jalen Hurts just got paid. The Eagles are pretty much going all in. They get Kevin Byard. They're trying to get Shaq Leonard. Like, all that stuff is because of the window they're in. The Lions aren't there yet, but trust me, that's not a problem. Like, for everyone who had Super Bowl expectations and now all of a sudden you're doubting it, guys, as long as they get out of this year with a playoff win and a division win, like, I'm cool, man. You build on that. You go into the draft, the offseason, you got some money to spend. We'll see what happens with Jonah and all that stuff, but still, it's a good football team. They're just not they're not in the same part of their rebuild as those guys. Those guys have been competing. I mean, the Eagles played the Super Bowl. I mean, the 49ers played in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, and I know it's not always a linear progression, but the Lions didn't make the playoffs last year. The Eagles and the 49ers, although the 49ers, we might talk about that. I mean, the Eagles, we might talk about that later on in the week, look a little more beatable than maybe we think. But the Eagles and 49ers, they were in the NFC Championship game last year. The Cowboys have been to the playoffs the last couple of years. So I know there was a time where us fans were thinking maybe the Lions can get to the Super Bowl and win it this year, but I've tempered those expectations a little bit, but a division win and a playoff win, I think anything short of that is a little bit disappointing. But if they get that, we can chalk it up to one of the most successful seasons in Lions history. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true.
If I told you before the season, despite all the storylines you'd have to go throughout the season, the defense, Aiden, J-Mo, all this stuff. If I told you before the season, Sam, you're going to end the season, playoff game at Ford Field. We'll see if they win it, but I'll just say they do. In a division win, you'd be like, hell yeah.
I would have been doing a backflip.
And I gave you 12 wins, you'd be cool with that.
Oh,
and they're on pace. I think they can still get 12 wins. You look at their games coming up. You know, I know I get it after the last couple of games. It looks a little different. Like Denver just lost, even though you guys know how I feel. I think Denver's a decent team. I do. And I think they're still kind of in this playoff race. But still, Chicago next week. We'll see. Chicago, that could go either way. You either get the Chicago that looked like how they looked at Ford Field, or you get the Chicago how they looked against the Vikings. Yeah. I don't necessarily know what Chicago you're getting. Denver, you know what that is. That's at home. On the road to Minnesota, and then you have at Dallas, and then at home to Minnesota. They could be 4-1.
They could
3-2.
3-2, I think.
More likely.
I think 3-2 would be great. 4-1, and you probably sweep the Vikings at that point. Yeah. So that would be
13-4. That's your record. It is what it is. People chiming in. Mike chiming in too. Lions beat Bears and win the NFC North on Saturday Night Football. There you go. Hell yeah. And that's what they're going to clinch, I think, very, very soon. Trust me, it's a lot to be excited about. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll get into our segment we're trying out here. We've been doing last couple of weeks. Who took home the gold, silver, bronze? Give out your medals in the chat. Lions players, coaches, who deserves them. And when we come back, again, gold, meaning the player that maybe showed out the best, was most impressive. Silver, someone that showed out but not as quite as the guy who you're giving the gold to. And then bronze doesn't mean the guy's ass. But what I'm saying is he's just not on par with the other two guys. So that's how we're going to do it when we come back. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Bullseye or Premier Pet.
I'll do Premier Pet.
There you go.
100%. Premier Pet. Things that actually make me happy, unlike some of you in the chat. My golden retriever, Jake, and my orange cat, Milo. When it comes to your pet, don't settle. I don't settle when it comes to my pets. Give your pet the best like I give my pet the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. With 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, lowest prices, and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. Visit their website at premierpetsupply.com.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new Down Home Comfort Dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The Down Home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of Down Home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness, guys. I'll give you this. Aiden Hutchinson, he goes to Planet Fitness. I can't deny that. Man shredded. Go to Planet Fitness. No judgment-free zone. We're going to judge you on how many sacks you have on the year. You go over there, you work out, you look good, you feel great, and it's $10 a month. No commitment. I mean, guys, your fitness is essential. Remember that, and Planet Fitness is the place to go. Neil Rule approves. He goes there and runs, 25 miles a day?
Something like that.
He's built different. Planet Fitness, your fitness is essential. All right, we're back. It's time. And I love this segment. We're going to start doing this every Monday. Who took home the gold, silver, and bronze? Sam will start with gold, and I'll start with you. Tell me, Detroit Lions relay race, who took home the first place?
I honestly feel like we're all going to have the same answer. It's Sam Laporta. It's Sam Laporta without a shadow of a doubt. I think if you have any other, I think this will be 100% universal. I mean, he had 140 of the team's 205 receiving yards by himself. He had one of the best games any tight end has had this year. If you can say that a player on this team single-handedly won that game. I know the offensive line played better. I know that Jared Goff had to throw him the ball, but Sam Laporta was elite. He looked like prime Kelsey out there. Sam Laporta, gold.
Yeah, absolutely. For what he did in the passing game, what he did in the run game, he was all over the place. He was. And he was wide open every single play. Looked like he was out there playing Madden in rookie mode. They couldn't guard him. And he's a stud. I think that's an easy one. For me, and guys, get yours in the chat. I'll read them after we go. I'll start with silver. because this is where it gets a little interesting. For me, silver, who took it home, it's got to be Bruce Irvin, I think, because number one of my expectations, I expected Bruce to help. I didn't know he'd get a sack in his first game. I did not know that. I can't act like I sit here and act like I did. I don't think many people expected that. But, hey, he looked good. He didn't look like he was 36 years old.
No.
And he looked like he can be an immediate help for this team, not just for the regular season, but possibly for the postseason with his experience. He had a sack last year against the 49ers when he was on Seattle. So, again, man who's played a lot of games, a man who's won a Super Bowl. So Bruce Irvin, to me, man, give him the silver. Another guy that I thought about giving it to, I'm going to be honest with you, it's outside the realm, but Germ. Because of what he did on special teams, dude was all over the place. So it's tough between those two guys. I'm going to give it to Irvin because I was more shocked by Irvin. I know Germ's that guy on special teams, and he came in and played linebacker. He played really well, but I'm going to give the edge to Bruce Irvin.
All right, so since you chose Bruce Irvin, which was somebody I was thinking about, I'm going to go with Jack Campbell on this one. I'm not saying that Jack Campbell was great or anything, but stepping into the role that Alex Anzalone had, which is big shoes to fill since Alex Anzalone is having such a great year, I thought he performed well. He led the team in tackles. He had a couple tackles for loss. I think he started off the game very, very strong, which is one of the reasons why the Saints couldn't move the football throughout the first quarter. Jack Campbell did more than enough, and I'll tell you what, he does this a couple more times. I might actually go from saying the meat missile shirt should be out of stock to getting one of my own. We shall see.
Are they back in stock?
They're
on low supply.
They're on low supply, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple out there. Hey, no, I love it. I thought about giving Campbell it too. I'm going to give him the bronze because, again, this is a guy that I think for him coming out of college, he gets to play his natural position. He gets to play the position you drafted him, a guy who at Iowa, green dot, a guy who can kind of, play free and just be a sideline-to-sideline guy, tackling machine. He had a couple tackle for losses. Jack Campbell was impactful in the run game. He made some plays in the passing game. He was just he looked like he belonged. That's what we wanted to see out of Jack Campbell. I know I brought up on the pregame show is the passer rating he allows when targeted, but that's not who Jack is. A lot of things that people like to talk about with Jack Campbell is, again, his athleticism, but also what he did in pass coverage. Mm-hmm. So I knew that stat. It's more about him just struggling as a rookie than I think who he is as a player. I knew he'd play better, but, man, he did play damn well on Sunday. So Jack Campbell, I'm going to give him the bronze medal. All right. And that's no slight, but it was a close one.
All right, so my definition of bronze medal is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to surprise you with this one. My bronze medal is actually going to be Aiden Hutchinson because I don't think he played bad like some of you in the chat do, but I think he could be a little bit better. I think if he would have gotten that sack instead of Bruce Irvin, we'd be talking about how he was great and there's no help, but he didn't. It was Bruce Irvin. I would like to see him get more sacks moving forward, but that doesn't diminish the fact that at least at certain times in this game, he was impactful, but of course he needs to be better if the Lions are going to reach their ceiling. So for all of you who think I'm just a Hutch simp at this point, I'm giving him the bronze in this game. I gave Jack Campbell the silver. You know how hard that was for me to do, but I just call it as I see it.
And you got to leave somebody out. It's kind of like the college football playoff rankings. Someone's going to be upset.
Yeah.
You got Brian Branch. Where does he fit into all this?
I mean, but
he's a candidate, I think. Jameson Williams scored a TD on a nice run play. You give him a bronze. Like I said, Germ, you could argue he deserves a silver. There's so many guys I think deserve a lot of credit. That's who we went with. But again, I'll read some of the guys, people in the chat, rather, not guys, because it could be guys or girls here. Let's read some of their answers because they're already chiming in. Was that a pause? Was it a pause? JB, call me out if
it was a pausable moment, but we're past it.
Okay.
You're good.
I trust you to keep me in line with that stuff. All right. Let's get to some of these answers. Curtis says Campbell and Rodrigo is a better duo than Anzalone and Jack. Well, hold on. All right. No Anzalone slander today. That man is he's been one of your more consistent defensive players. Let's see. People are thinking Germ 2 silver. I see this comment too. Peter, Laporta gold, Germ silver, Goff bronze. I don't hate that either. Micro Mike agree with you. Jack Campbell for me as well. Talking about for silver. Sir James bronze, Goff for not handing the ball over to the other team. I can't argue that. I cannot argue that at all. Let's see. Steven says gold, Laporta, silver, Reeves, Mabin, bronze, the J train. Get him more involved. There you go. I like that. All right. People putting their answers as well. John Lord, Laporta, Irvin, J-Mo. See, you can make an argument for a lot of these different guys. Let's see. Sappy Johnson, 1 Laporta, 2 Goff, 3 Irvin. Trisha says Germ, Campbell, Irvin.
So is Trisha really saying that Jalen Reeves-Maben should be gold? And you called me a dummy earlier.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Well, Germ, to be fair.
A gold?
He played well.
Oh, my God.
Made some plays on special teams, man.
Jesus Christ.
I know it doesn't fit into your, hey, he's not a star player.
It's Laporta, end of conversation. That's it.
Yeah. Well, hey, Germ making some plays.
Oh,
all right? He was making some plays.
Oh, my God. Reeves-Maben. He shouldn't even be, gold or silver or...
Let's see here. Yeah, people talk about Germ. Trisha says, I just used the names for defense.
All right,
okay,
fine.
So maybe she wasn't doing it. Maybe you misunderstood. That's all.
All right.
That's all.
All right.
Peter, Hutch did nothing, Sam. Oh, yeah, he got his ass caught up inside yet again and allowed Carr to make a huge play.
That's why I gave him the bronze. I don't know. The reason why I didn't give another person the bronze is because the bronze to me is somebody who could be better, not somebody who was one of... That's why I said it. I think he played well at times, but he could be better. That, to me, is the definition of the bronze. It wasn't, to me, the third best player in the game, if that makes sense.
Trisha says it should be offensive and defensive medals. We could do that, too. We could do first, second place for offense and defense. We can make it. But I like it makes it hard, but that's what makes it good. You got to leave somebody off, unfortunately. It's just how it is. David Brewer says, Jeff, your uncle had the Packers ready to go last night, referring to my uncle as Matt LaFleur.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That is Mount Pleasant native. No relation. No relation. Corey Berry says, role player hate up to 300% thanks to Sam.
I mean, I think Hutch hate is up 300% thanks to Neil Rule and me.
Lions Talk by Chat Sports says, gold to the referee whose leg went in the opposite direction.
Ugh,
oh, my
that's
gosh,
terrible.
guys. Did you?
Got that coming up in mailbag. Not mailbag, but
what's
trending.
Oh, JB, you got that? Okay.
Yeah.
What's trending with JB? You're going to bring – that was – I mean, I was shook during the stream, too. Like, I had to sit there, and I was like, oh, no. It kind of threw me off a little bit. Like, you just don't see those things happening. I don't know, man.
Like
that man was just showing up
but-
to work. He's just trying to do his job.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you see them happen on the sideline if you're there in the stadium, but they don't, put it on camera. Like, oh, all right.
By the way, the people in the chat – oh, look at this. Booner, they said he didn't break his leg. He just dislocated his knee. He didn't need surgery. Also, that's better.
God.
That's better.
Because I felt so bad. Because NFL players,
still sucks.
NFL players, not to be this person, but they kind of go into an NFL game knowing that they could get hurt. This guy's just a linesman. He's probably just, I don't know how much money he makes. I don't know what he does in his personal life, and he's just standing there and gets a gruesome injury. So if it's not like a terrible broken leg and it's just a dislocated knee, I think that's better. Said no surgery off of that. That's actually pretty surprising.
Someone in the chat, you guys are sickos, by the way, who watched the watch stream. Those guys were making some comments. I was laughing, but I felt bad for laughing. Someone said his leg ran a slant route.
Oh, God. That's so out of pocket. That's so out of pocket. What the
That was just out of pocket, man.
Out of pocket.
That okay, there's things where I'm willing to give you. That one I had to laugh. All right. I don't care how fucked up it is. I had to laugh at that one. That's messed up. Let's get the hell out of here.
Of course it was Detroit.
It was Daver, yeah. You son of a bitch. You made me laugh though. I can't lie. Ran a slant route. Like, I thought Michael Thomas was on IR. All right, let's go to break. Okay. We got to get out of here.
Too soon.
We got to get out of here. Sam, could you tell us about our friends over at Dispo? I don't even know,
Dispo.
man. I think that man might need Dispo.
Yeah, for some pain relief. But hey, Dispo, hook him up if he goes there. Experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. The first ever cannabis mall of its kind is conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Dispo Romeo is now open late night until midnight every day except Sunday. Can it get any better than that? Dispo Dispensary, DispoShops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Guardian Alarm, your local home security expert, gives you all of the security that you could possibly need. If you want to get in touch with them, just give them a call at 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
We're back. The show that is most likely going to hell. The Morning Woodward Show.
Damn.
That we just continue to just poke, just kind of, get close to the line. We don't cross it, but we get close. I'll tell you that. We get close. Neil Rule in the chat. He doesn't watch the show, though. He does not, but he is in the chat. And he said, bro had 2 knees. Okay, well, that's messed up. Oh, okay. Well, he's doing better. It's all that matters. You know what? That's the takeaway.
Thank God.
Thank goodness. And I was talking to Spencer about that. When you watch a lot of these NFL games, there's so many times where even in the end zone, when someone catches a pass and they stumble into somebody like security, I'm always like just ready to cringe. I'm like, oh gosh, because these people aren't looking. They're just there in the end zone, just looking away at the crowd, and the dude just rolls up under them. And to see something like that happen, it was something that I wished would never happen, but, man, I can't say I'm completely surprised because, man, these people on the sideline, it's a fight. It's a battlefield out there. Got to be prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Got to be prepared. Broder says, I remember watching Marcus Lattimore at South Carolina, probably going to be a first-round pick before the slant route. Oh, yeah. His Marcus Lattimore's injury, too. There's a lot of bad ones, man.
He was the best back in the nation before he got hurt. That was a sad one.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. Don Burr, man, how are y'all making jokes about someone's injuries? Ridiculous. Hey, I'm not making jokes. I'm just laughing at jokes.
I tend to agree with Don Burr.
I'm just laughing at jokes. There's a difference, all right? Mm-hmm. That's all it is. Just kidding, all jokes aside. All right, before we kind of move on here, I want to kind of preview and talk about, not preview, but more so recap what happened last night because your Kansas City Chiefs, man, Packers are playing well.
Yeah.
I can't even lie, and I hate the Packers. I hate the Bears. I hate the Vikings. But Jordan Love is playing a lot better. He really is. He looks comfortable. I know they put up the stat through his first 11 games. He had the same total touchdowns as Aaron Rodgers, same passing yards, all that and more. I think people wrote Jordan Love off a little too early. I think you see the growth with him. I do. Not saying he ain't gonna be Aaron Rodgers. I don't think so. No. But still. They might have a decent guy over there in Green Bay, and he's blossoming. I will admit that.
Well, and right now they have the inside track to a playoff spot. I mean, think about this. This is actually a testament to the Packers. They go to Detroit, one of the best teams in the NFC, and beat them. And then they play a home game against the defending Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, and beat them, and now they're 500. And Jordan,
on prime time.
Yes, and Jordan Love, honestly, he's probably been the biggest factor as to why they've won both of those games because he has been absolutely unbelievable. He's getting his receivers involved, like Christian Watson, who unfortunately went down with an injury late in the game, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, even some guys that I hadn't even really heard of, like Malik Heath is even emerging. So, yeah, Jordan Love, I think he's making the leap. He's becoming the quarterback that maybe I expected in terms of production, in terms of growth, in terms of ranking in the NFC that I thought Justin Fields would be. It's actually Jordan Love. Jordan Love is the quarterback maybe us Lions fans could fear moving forward in the NFC instead of a Justin Fields, instead of maybe a Kirk Cousins. I don't know how long he's going to be there. He's been balling. And if you want to still say he's a bum, I think you've just got your head in the sand at this point.
Yeah, I thought he'd be better than Justin Fields, but that wasn't saying much. I'm just different on Fields. I just think I don't think there's much left there. People might still think there's, hey, he has a ceiling still. Yeah. He can still turn into a great player. That's fine. I always thought Jordan Love would be better, but I didn't expect this. I mean, he's the last couple of games, man. He has multiple.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he has multi-touchdown games. He has like 3 in a row, and he's not turning the football over. again, that's something you look for. And their defense is playing really well.
You know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that because it's actually the last 3 games because the game before that, they beat the Chargers at home. And in the last 3 games, Jordan Love has had a passer rating of over 108.5 in all of them and has 8 touchdowns, no picks.
That's impressive.
That's hell of a stretch.
It's impressive.
One of the
best.
best.
Different. He had like a 7-to-1 touchdown interception ratio to start the season, and everyone's like, well, wait till defenses figure him out. He just had an 8 touchdown to 0 interception ratio last 3 games. And we're late in the season, guys. Like, they have plenty of tape on him. So, again, something to watch. Lions don't have to play the Packers anymore, but I think they will make the playoffs. I do. If I had to pick 1 team or 2 teams in the NFC North, I'll go Lions-Packers. I think the Vikings lose games, and they fall short.
That's probably – I would tend to agree with you at this point.
I think the Packers are on an upward trajectory, and the Vikings are spiraling a little bit. We'll see. We'll see if Dobbs can bounce back.
Yeah,
I'm just not big on Dobbs as it is.
Well, and Josh Dobbs, I never thought that he would fall quite like that, but throwing 4 interceptions in a game, I think we all had the premonition that maybe Josh Dobbs would fall back to earth a little bit, but the fact that the Vikings lost that game to the Bears, that's costly. I think that's their death nail at this point.
You worried about your Chiefs or what?
I mean, they're not my Chiefs. I always feel like I have to say that, but I think that they will.
Because this is the first time, I believe, in Mahomes' career he's going to have to go on the road in the playoffs, which I don't think will significantly, it's not like he can't win, but it is different. He's usually playing at Arrowhead.
We don't know that yet, though. We don't know that. Come on, we don't know that. The Ravens and the Dolphins could lose some games, and the Chiefs could win out. Who knows?
Could, woulda, shoulda. We'll see.
I mean,
right now at this point, it don't look like it.
It's not.
Lions could also get the 1 seed.
All right, fine. I'm just saying that I don't want to do the whole they're going to have to play a game on the road. It's likelier than not at this point, but they could win out. The Dolphins and the Ravens, they could drop a couple games. The Jaguars could drop a game or 2. Who knows? And the Kansas City Chiefs have that precious tiebreaker over the Jaguars as well. So we shall see. Do they look a little bit disappointing? Am I a little bit worried in terms of them winning the Super Bowl? I mean, I don't want them to win a Super Bowl. I want the Lions to, but I want them to represent the AFC. Yeah, I'm a little concerned. Their offense doesn't quite look the same.
That's all I needed. All right, let's go to break here. When we get back, we'll get to What's Running with JB. He is speaking of Aaron Rodgers, you know what? This is the Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Lucas Klotz handed it over to JB. JB's smooth, though. He's got it. And he's got some things for us to talk about. What's Running with JB? We'll do it when we come back. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at what's next, JB? Talk to me. This thing's all over the place.
Did we do Mark White?
No, I got Mark White.
Let's do Mark White.
Right,
Thanks,
let's
Sam.
do Mark White.
Winter is here, and if you're dreaming of a new home but feeling the pinch, we've got some fantastic news for you. Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Here's the deal. When you work with a Mark White & Associates realtor, they'll pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right. Buying a home just got a whole lot easier. Imagine having an extra $5,000 in your pocket this winter. With years of experience and a commitment to making your dreams a reality, Mark White & Associates are your go-to team for all things real estate. This incredible opportunity won't last forever. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 and let them make your winter home buying dreams come true. Visit their website, markwhitesells.com, or call them at 248-290-8242 to hear the full terms of this offer and begin your home search today.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network out in Feldman, Chevrolet, and Novi. Man, shout out to them for having us out here. That's where I got my car, actually, when it was totaled in my driveway. Yes, you heard that correctly. Totaled in my driveway. I'll explain that another day. But we're back. What's trending with JB? JB? I'm checking. I don't have a watch on, but if I did, I'd check it. I'm checking the clocks. You know what time it is. JB, talk to me. What do we got?
Yep. Fair enough. Once again, shout out to our guy, Lucas. You will be missed. We miss you, man, but we're going to take on what's trending with Lucas and now transition it to what's trending with JB. And as you guys were talking about earlier, that injury at the Lions game. Yeah. Not to mention that injury, but there was a couple more injuries as well, too, especially in the Chiefs game. Brian Cook went out as well, too. I think something with his leg. I can't really tell you what it is, but I want to play you the injury that happened yesterday at the Lions game. I don't know if you missed it or, you weren't watching or you couldn't rewind it fast enough, but kind of gruesome.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Viewer discretion is advised. And just to see Alvin Kamara just sit here and be like, all right, yeah, you're fine, dude. I'm about to go back to play football. But as Sam said, you kind of are in that football mode there that you're just like, all right, I got to get back to the game. And the guy did have a dislocated knee, which is sad to say, but I do think the NFL will take care of him in that aspect as well, too. Hopefully he's got health insurance, but I know you just don't expect that, just going to your day job and just to get ran over by a running back and have it dislocated at the end of the day.
Get your bag, man. If I was him, get it fixed, I'd be limping still. I'd be like, there's a problem
here.
I'm going to have to get some, like you guys, I got taken care of, but like something's wrong. I might need a buyout. I might need you got to cut a check, NFL.
Ooh, so maybe
this team is giving fines to St. Brown for blocking. You could give my man's, give him at least cut him a check, whatever the price is, just pay it.
Oh yeah,
give my man for that on national, on TV. He's got to get exposed like that, be memed.
God, and you just see him like screaming. It's like, oh my God!
You heard him screaming over the broadcast too, and you're like,
I'd be limping. I'd complain. I'd say there's still problems. I'd get a bag. I don't even care.
Just like I need some emergency experimental surgery or something like that. Come here.
Yeah. I could take it cash. I could take it a check. You can hit my direct
Venmo,
deposit. You can Venmo, Cash App.
Maybe like a
MoneyGram,
money order or something like that.
PayPal. I mean, I'll make a PayPal. Just get it to me. I don't care how it is. That was awful, man. Prayers to that guy. It's unfortunate.
Yes, definitely prayers up to that guy. And lastly, this video right here. So I don't know when this happened, mainly because, Jeff, I don't keep up with your king, LeBron James.
Okay, all right.
But apparently him and Ime Udoka got into it on the sidelines, and I just seen it over the weekend. So luckily this video does have subtitles, so if you're not able to fully hear what's going on, but here you go.
Out of it goes. It doesn't go. Tari Eason. Tari with tickets.
So, Jeff, I got to ask, is LeBron really that soft, or does this fall on Ime Udoka for trying to, get in his face?
I think you could make that argument LeBron's soft if he didn't say anything. I get that if he was looking away from it. No, he walked into him like, I wouldn't use that so loosely. Because would Ime say that outside of that stadium? Probably not. But now there's referees. Oh yeah, you guys are being bitches. Trust me. Ime Udoka, there might be some truth to what he's saying, all right? With the flopping, I get all of that. But to say he's being a bitch because he said something to Ime is not right. If he would have walked away and put his head down, I agree. But, man, Ime, no. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I think LeBron was just checking him. Like, hey, don't use that loosely. You can't just throw around the B word to a grown-ass man and expect me not to say anything.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with it.
You know, I know a lot of people are going to call LeBron soft because you guys are obviously haters, but I lost a lot of respect for Ime Udoka. This is your tough guy right here, the guy who in the 2022 playoffs, was still wearing a damn mask on the sidelines and having it as a chin strap most of the time. I lost Ime Udoka a lot of respect for him after that.
He's a damn good coach, though, man. I can't lie.
Well, and stay away from and how about you don't cheat on Nia Long? How about you not wear a mask in the 2022 playoffs and you don't cheat on Nia Long? Wow. This is your big tough guy. This is your big tough guy. And LeBron, the greatest basketball player who ever lived, is a softie. Okay. Yes.
One thing I can't say about Ime, I can't come at his coaching ability, JB.
I
that
can't
dude
come at his coaching ability. And, Sam, you're all right. You shouldn't have cheated on Nia Long. But that's it for what's trending with JB today. Once again, shout out to Lucas, man. You will be missed. You know what's funny? And, by the way, you're all right. Shout out to Lucas. About the Ime thing, if that was the Pistons head coach, if Monty did that, I think we'd all be like, yeah, say it. We'd be in support of him. So, I can't go too hard on Ime. I just don't like that. I get where Bron's coming from, too. I like that. The NBA needs more stuff like that, like some coach-to-player talk. Like you see the 49ers-Eagles game where Dre Greenlaw got kicked out the game. Oh, yeah,
the big security dude. Forgot his name.
Dom?
Yeah, Dom, the head of security or whatever.
Yeah.
Big dude, and hey, he was about that smoke. Dre Greenlaw touched him in the face. They both got ejected. I think he's probably going to get free drinks all over Philly now, even though they got spanked. So I don't know how that makes sense, but it is what it is. Mike Bell says, big facts, Jeff. There you go. Let's get out of here. We'll come back. We'll get in the mailbag. Get your questions ready, no matter what it is. If you want to ask me about the Pistons, go ahead. I mean, I'll try to give you an answer if I got one.
I mean, we do have Kool-Aid here as well.
Yeah, Kool-Aid can be my translator.
A little bit.
It'd be like the Key and Peele skit, like my, Obama's translator. You just translate everything for me. My PR person. I'll say something. Brandon can give you the PR version of it. All right.
There we go. Let's do that.
Let's do that. That's a lot of fun. All right, we'll get out of here. When we come back, like I said, we'll get in the mailbag. But first, we got to hear about our friends from, Glorious, I guess, JB?
Oh, yeah. We got to hear from our friends from Glorious. Just in time. It's football season, and Glorious Cannabis has dropped their new ice water bubble hash-infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good. It's like the whiff of the first playoff win in over 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of our Detroit football team. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, then you are missing out. Find a Dispo dispensary near you to try them out today. Use code word Woodward or check them out online today at gloriouscanna.com.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White and Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Outdoor Equip Co. It's the place, man. I know D-Mac's very familiar with how Outdoor Equip Co. runs their operation. Again, they carry the top brands of mowers, handheld tractors, trailers, snow equipment. They hooked us up with our own Woodward Sports trailer here where we can load and unload from all our remote shows. It's really clutch, man. Outdoor Equipment, they got great people over there serving the Great Lakes region. 866-688-7847. Give them a call today or visit www.outdoorequipco.com. All right, let's get into some of these questions here because they're already coming in. Eduardo, mailbag. The Chicago game and the first Minnesota game games are key for us to win. If we win those two, it doesn't matter what Green Bay does. We win the division based on wins versus common opponents. Cannot drop the Chicago game. Yeah, you are correct, Eduardo. They could lock up this division pretty quickly here, and I think they do. And I don't want to give too much away. We'll give our game predictions later in the week, Sam, but they're close. Yeah. They're going to lock this thing up very soon.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, I think it's locked up already. But, yeah, you don't want to go dropping a game at Chicago. It is at the Bears, and they have been playing a little bit better, especially defensively. But still, they're a 4-8 team. There's always a little bit of worry, though, with Jared Goff outside in cold weather and possibly wind, the Windy City.
Shot says, mailbag, now that Bojan is back, do you think the Pistons will have to be competitive enough to win with the additional spacing he brings? Three-guard lineups prove to work with Bojan, Cade, Ivy, Hayes. Yeah, I'm not going to discount the impact Bojan has. He's a 20-point-per-game, 50, 40, 90 guy. I can't – he's definitely going to help, but defensively, will he help? Probably not. And I think there's bigger issues than just Bojan returning. That's my takeaway, whether that's – whether that's discipline, you could go all around and start pointing to different players. Bojan's not going to save the season. Will he increase their chances of winning a game, Shad? Absolutely. And I think at this point, that's all that Pistons fans need right now. Just win a couple games.
Well,
start getting onto the track where we see this post-All-Star game 500 record. Do that.
Well, to paraphrase the great Beatles song "Getting Better," it can't get no worse.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, that's the thing. He can shoot. So maybe at the end of the year, there might still be a chance that their win total can be, I don't even want to say somewhat respectful.
30 wins?
No.
I'm kidding.
20?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
You know what? We'll see. Oh, gosh. My mental health, man, with this Pistons season. It's taking a deep dive. Brandon's kept me in this thing. Big Daddy Buttman, what a name. Jesus. Mailbag question. What happened to Lucas, meaning he's no longer there? Don't need details. No, he just took a job out of state. So he moved. We're happy for him. We miss him. He means so much to this program. He means a lot to all of us here. We've talked about it on Friday. You can go back and rewatch that. It was his goodbye episode. And it's sad, man. I hate change. I do. But guess what? He's a friend of ours, and he's taking a job. He's chasing his dreams out in another state. So, hey, we're supporting him. He'll be on the show, though. Don't get me wrong. We're going to have him back via call, via VMix, whatever it is. He'll be making appearances. The ball nowhere. He ain't going too far. Distance-wise, he is. But, hey, technology nowadays, he ain't going too far. We'll have him on. Let's see. Jeff Merrill says, I'm more afraid of Fields and Moore with Glenn's secondary. I mean, yeah. Well, DJ Moore's a problem. I don't care what secondary you got. He's still a problem. But this secondary, I will give you that, Jeff. Nice name, by the way. I will give you that. This secondary, especially Kirby, he hasn't been great in coverage all year. He's made some plays on mostly recovery where he's beat, but he'll recover and get a pass deflection. But secondary's not playing great. They need C.J. Gardner-Johnson back. You got Brian Branch, Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs at times will make plays, but they still need to do a lot of work, man. And that's the offseason for Brad. This defense needs a lot of his attention.
Yeah. A lot. I mean, here's the thing with Justin Fields. Obviously, in the last game, he played very, very well, and I think he had his only 100-yard rushing game of the season against the Lions, which isn't a good sign. And last year at the game at Soldier Field, Justin Fields also played well. But what the Lions can do, and I know we'll get into it more later on in the week, force Justin Fields into one or two of those terrible turnovers, like they did last year with that Jeff Okudah pick six. I think everything will be fine, but he does present some challenges. I think that's fair.
This comment, Isaiah Sanders locked up already. You see the Packers schedule, they can win out very easily. They could. But the Lions
have a 3-game lead.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
The Lions win a majority of these games. No, I do not think so. Even though they're split head-to-head, I don't see a scenario. If it does, it'd be terrible, but I do not think so. If I'm putting money on it, I'll say the Lions lock this thing up sooner than later. This comment, I want to get to it. John Lord, did Irvin get fined for the hit on Carr? I mean, he probably will.
He probably will.
Put that man in a body bag. And that's unfortunate that the NFL, it's unfortunate that happened to Derek Carr. It's just how the NFL is now with these new rules. You can't, pile drive a quarterback. You can't put your weight on him because, again, things like that happen. And I know Spencer made a joke about his age. Maybe in Bruce Irvin's day this was allowed. He played last year, so let's relax.
Back in Bruce Irvin's
I mean,
day.
come on. He played last year. He's well aware of the rules. It was just, hey, maybe he just got too He's too locked into the game, man. He wants to get a sack, and he doesn't care how he gets it, even if he has to knock a dude out of the game. So.
As much as I don't wish injury upon anyone, I truly believe, and I mentioned it early on in the show, that I think Bruce Irvin knocking Derek Carr out of the game had a direct impact on the Lions winning, because I think Derek Carr would have been able to hit some of those throws at the end that Jameis Winston missed. You take wins any way you get them. So in that way, Bruce Irvin probably could have gotten a 1B when it comes to goal.
And
right?
I don't want to make that a thing where it's Bruce Irvin, knock every quarterback out. Because I'm telling you what, if that was Jared Goff taking that hit, we'd all be pissed at whoever that was.
Well, of course.
We'd be like, fine him, suspend him. So we got to keep it consistent. That you can't do that. Bruce Irvin knows that.
I'm just saying, back in Bruce Irvin's day,
my
you could suplex the quarterback. That's
back in Bruce Irvin's day.
Yeah.
This man, what, black and white television or what? What are we doing?
Yeah, black and white television. You had to listen to all the games on the radio and everything like that. You know, back then you could suplex a quarterback. It wasn't that bad.
That's fair, JB.
They have those old NFL films, highlights of Bruce Irvin, like Bruce Irvin got to the quarterback. Playing in the frozen tundra.
Dare Go Johnny says Irvin would pile drive Spenny. He honestly would. And Spenny, he would even admit that. I mean, Bruce Irvin, I don't want no problems with that man. No. I don't want no problems. Thor Neil Robinson, mailbag trade Goff so we can get Watt from Notre Dame. What?
So we can get who?
Watt from Notre Dame? Who is that? Am I drawing a blank?
Watt. I know they have a top 5 prospect offensive lineman named Joe Alt.
Yeah, Joe Alt?
Yeah.
Sam Hartman? No? Okay.
All right.
All right, maybe I'm just stupid. All right, we'll get out of here, guys. Appreciate you. Real quickly, Detroit Dabber, who made that slant joke earlier that, Jesus, man. He said Spencer is just mad Irvin is making plays after he said he would be a non-factor, so he's calling him old. The non-factor is aggressive. I didn't think he'd have a sack his first game. I'll be honest with you, Dabber. I didn't. I'm not going to act like I did. But non-factor.
Well, he's already put that to bed.
Yeah, like you see who else who else is on this defensive line. Like he's already one of their better players. All right, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Don't forget rest of the programming on Woodward Sports Network. Big D Energy, Ermanni Edwards with Maz, Heavyweights, Woodward Knights. Check them all out. They'll be recapping the victory as well. We're here at Feldman, Chevrolet, and Novi. Big D Energy will be here as well. Stick around. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for your patience. Again, we love you, Lucas. We'll never forget you. It's like he died. He didn't die.
He didn't die.
Jesus, man. We love you, Lucas.
Love you, Lucas.
All right, see you guys. Have a great one. Drop a like on the stream before you leave, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Morning Woodward Show. Deuces.